that you were telling me, I'm afraid it does show a little commercialism.
Okay.
Can you give me another message that is without commercialism of any?
Actually, one minute. Do you have a fax number?
No. But
Consumer, when they go into a optical place, and they should be asking questions and being treated as if they're patients.
okay.
Okay, and when you are a patient, you have the right to understand what you're getting.
Okay.
Okay. That's the thrust of what I'm saying, is that they should be asking questions that they would normally be asking their doctors, and knowing what products do what for them.
Okay, well, folks, this is Andy Poland, who is giving us good information. That's good, Andy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very good. What is your middle initial again, Andrew?
And Neil.
Andrew Neil Poland.
Right.
And it's spelled P-Paul, O-L-A-N?
O-L-A-N, right.
Yes. Yeah, that's good, because when you go in as a patient, you have rights.
That's right. And although it's a very commercialized field now, they should still not feel that they should still be able to ask these questions and know what they're purchasing.
And what can you give us an example of the questions?
Well, the types of materials and what they do.
Oh, okay.
If a frame is hypoallergenic versus frames that aren't hypoallergenic.
Oh.
In essence, you do get what you pay for.
Okay.
There are frames that are made out of titanium, but then there are frames that are made with a nickel base to them, and nickel-based frames will have a tendency to corrode and cause an allergy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And you want to know this prior to making a purchase, what you're getting.
Yeah, that's right.
Even to LensCraft is called a lens called featherweight, which there's nothing that is not the thinnest lens that's available, and they shouldn't think that they're getting that. That's actually the least thin of the lenses that are available.
Oh.
Okay, of thinning categories. See, that they all fall into a category of high-index material, and they're selling it as being the thinnest and lightest available when it's not.
No.
That's where it said you have to know what you're purchasing.
And ask questions.
Yeah, you have to, and they shouldn't be afraid to ask questions and make the people, if the people who are selling it to them don't want to answer the questions, and they're not in the right kind of place.
That's right.
Okay, they should be looking for licensed opticians. See, a lot of these places run their stores without licensed opticians in them.
Okay.
And for the consumer's protection, they really should be dealing with somebody with a professional license, because we're really the only ones who can advise them properly.
Okay. Andrew, you teach at Stony Brook?
At Suffolk Community.
At Suffolk Community.
Yeah.
And what's the name of the course you teach?
Ophthalmic dispensing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I teach the licensing for this field. When my students graduate our program, they're able to sit for the New York State boards.
Oh, good.
So it's a 2-year associate's degree in ophthalmic dispensing that they're coming out with.
Oh, that's good.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's very good.
So, when you do the piece, I'd be interested in seeing it, or if you...
Yeah, I'll have to get in touch with you and let you know.
Okay, and
So
I'll
that you
see Patty on Monday and let her know
Oh, that's good.
that's available.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. You have my number, don't you?
Let me just put it down.
Yeah, let's put it down again. 914.
I want to put it with Patty's phone number. This way they're in the same place.
Oh, I know you have it. Oh, good. This is good. Okay, yes, I know you have it. 914.
914.
949.
949.
9495.
9495. And I do public service things for people, so I'm always available either for a second opinion or, expert advice on something if they're not sure.
Gee, that's good.
Okay?
Suffolk County is fortunate to have you.
Thank you.
What's the difference between, all right, this next conversation, folks, I called and I said, Wesley Martin. Those are the 4 syllables I said, and he identified the voice in 4 syllables, and he said Glendora, and he said how he had been watching Glendora for a number of years.
I need a job. If something comes along...
2 syllables.
How are you?
Oh, all right. How are you?
Oh, I've been watching you for a long time. Oh, what a
pleasure that you called. Thank you so much.
Well, what a pleasure you bring me, too, watching
I
it.
hope so. You certainly have interesting and curious things you bring up on that television.
Well, I tell you, Wesley, people aren't getting their rights.
No, they're not. They're in a constant, it's in a constant attack, direct attack, designed to return us to totalitarian environment.
Indeed it is.
I'm a member of the Paul Palmieri's coalition of homeowners, landlords, and merchants.
Oh, good.
They are an active group here on Long Island.
Yes.
That advocates for the rights of homeowners against the onslaught of town code enforcement.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
There's a lot of that stuff, you know. It's a high crime to have an unregistered car, tall grass, interior door locks, chipped paint, tenants without license plates on their butts, and all other kinds of offenses.
Well, listen, I got the recorder going. Go ahead and say something, and I'll put it on TV.
Well, the concern that I have is that people in their effort to be good citizens assume that just because someone that knocks on your door that has a badge that shows them as an enforcement officer for a town can suddenly intrude on your privacy, invade your home, conduct warrantless searches, and criminalize you on the most trivial of offenses, none of which are permitted by the Constitution. And when the homeowners finally wake up and say, no, you're not coming in here, yes, I pay my taxes, and keep out of my sight, then maybe we'll be able to push the clock back to the days when we had real constitutional rights. If you remember, the cops that got shot at Lexington Concord were on their way to arrest the grandfather of our country, Samuel Adams, after he was caught throwing all the tea in the harbor. And so you see, not all policemen have the actual authority of the Constitution behind them. They have all these new little rules that make our lives very, very, very troublesome and vexing. And it's about time that Americans woke up.
Okay, Wesley, any more?
Well, I don't want to bore you, but if you're down here in the Great River area, you're a welcome person at any time. And
well, that's good. Where is Great River now?
well, if you are traveling on Long Island,
yes,
and
going
you are on the Southern State Parkway,
yes,
you would be following the Southern State Parkway all the way to its end, which is actually down by the Heckscher Park, and we're near the Arboretum, which is a state preserve, and we're on Great River Road, and it's a very nice area down here, and not too hard to get to, and not too hard to find.
How many miles is it, or how many minutes is it from Route 111?
From Route 111, you would simply continue on easterly on Southern State for a distance of about 4 more miles.
Oh, is that right?
You would be passing that new federal monument to inactivity known as the courthouse in Central Islip. That's my hometown. And, well, we were thinking that that would be a great opportunity with 41 active courtrooms and 41 assistant U.S. attorneys anxious to make corrupt policemen go away, but unfortunately the juries out here are fairly police sympathetic, and so we still we're in a little bit of a stalemate in that regard. Picking a jury that's going to find a police officer guilty of violating your civil rights is a difficult assemblage.
Oh, it is, because they're all, well, as 9X used to say, we're all connected.
Yeah, well, we're all connected, but by the same token, we must never lose sight of our individuality.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're all connected. They're all colluding.
Well, they're all connected by that walkie-talkie and that shotgun in the front of their patrol cars. And, of course, the age of computers has cut down on all the time and made the activities of the police and the enforcement authorities very impersonal. And so they basically prosecute by the numbers for the purpose of revenue generating.
That's right, civil RICO.
Yes. Well, actually, I've just spoken to a very prominent Long Island attorney here locally who advises me to have letters being sent to the United States Attorney alleging RICO violations on the part of the Islip town attorney.
Okay, do you know what number that law is? I'm going to give it to you.
The number of the RICO statute? you?
Yes. You know what it is, Title 18?
No, but I can give you the name and the number of the attorney.
No, I don't want it.
Oh, okay.
Let me give you the number of the law.
Oh, you want? Oh no, off the top of my head, no, I don't know what
it's Title 18.
U.S. Chapter 18 U.S.C.
No, Title 18.
Title 18. Okay.
Title 18.
Look it up from there.
No, wait a second. Title 18 U.S. Code.
Hold on, I got to write this all down now.
Oh yeah, that's important. Title 18 U.S. Code.
Title 18 U.S. Code.
Section.
Yes.
1964.
Oh, 64. All right, I'm familiar with Section 1983, which is the...
No, that's Civil Rights, Title 42.
That's the device under which an individual may sue a governmental entity.
Yeah, no, that's Title 42.
Oh, right, 42 U.S.C. Section in 1983.
No, I'm talking about Civil RICO is 1964, Section C.
Oh, okay.
I mean, parenthesis C, I should say. Parenthesis C.
Parenthesis, got it, okay.
Section 1964, parenthesis C. And if you go to your library, they should have the U.S. Code.
Yes, I will just underline that by saying
and it's a little tiny thing. It's only like a column long, but that's the law.
Well, it counts for a lot. We have one of the finest law libraries in New York State, presently situated on floor 4 of the Supreme Court building in Central Islip.
Yeah, that's a requirement. Did you know that's a state law? Every New York county.
Absolutely.
Every Supreme Court has to have a public...
must maintain a library, and the librarians are actually attorneys. The librarians, the head librarian must be an attorney, and that way they can guide you.
You sure that's part of the law? I never read that.
Well, that seems to be the custom. It's set forth in the judiciary law of the state of New York, as far as I know.
Okay.
I've also had an opportunity to be invited up to the city of Rochester by the coalition in Rochester, who are battling with the city fathers up there over a type of code enforcement which they call Operation Uplift, where they all the authorities gather on each end of a city block. They close down the traffic, and together with code enforcement officers, police officers, health officers, fire marshals, and other inspectors, they go door to door, banging on doors, demanding entry into tenant-owned properties for the purpose of code enforcement, and they issue blitzes of tickets, mountains of tickets, which must be battled in their local administration.
Oh, that's Gestapo.
It's terrible. And they have in Brookhaven a setup called Operation Firestorm, where they literally bulldoze a house. And the guy that invented that is our U.S. Congressman Grucci, the fireworks king. So we've devolved into a very, very, very Nazi-like environment here.
I'll say.
And
you mentioned Grucci.
Felix Grucci.
The FCC mandates that the cable company keep a public inspection file. Part of that inspection file is the political advertising, and I saw where Grucci spent tens of thousands of dollars on political advertising on Cablevision.
And you can be sure that...
I saw his checks. If you ever want to see them, you can go see them.
Well, they're all... we have a local race here in Islip that's being funded by the supervisor to get rid of a Democratic lady who lives on the other side of the river from us, who we very dearly appreciate. And they are dedicating approximately $350,000 to have this little town attorney assistant be elevated to county legislator.
Oh, my goodness.
And
what's the name?
I do a lot of appellate level work. I just
what's
was
the name?
able to reverse the...
What is the name?
The name of who? The candidate?
Yes.
The candidate that we're concerned about getting him out of there is named Robert Cicale, C-I-C-A-L-E, and he is the assistant town prosecutor who goes after all these code violations. And his opponent is the incumbent, our friend, Jenny Fields, who's having a fundraiser next Tuesday at the Riverview restaurant right across the river from where we're sitting. And we're going to be attending it because we do support her. It's a very nice environmental lady, very seasoned lady who's been involved in her local civic associations and was able to win a seat against all odds 2 years ago, and has acquitted herself very well in her full-time duties as a county legislature here in Suffolk. And so, very conscious of the people's concerns and so forth, very active constituent acquiescence to the remarriages of King Henry VIII. He would not say that he objected, and he would not say why he would object, because to do so he would be guilty of treason. They eventually cut his head off. Glendora, they're cutting out our hearts. One of my dearest friends died of a heart attack while thrashing about in his bathroom when they came to get him because the town had come and taken $10,000 worth of personal property off his front lawn with 12 guys from the highway department, bulldozers, tow trucks, and payloaders on a cleanup resolution. Never mind a judicial warrant. Not even a judicial proceeding. They just made a declaration saying, dirty, filthy front yard, go in and clean it.
Oh my goodness.
Came there with police. They came there with an inspector from the town and a 12-man highway crew. I have the photographs, and this was a very dear friend who is the brother-in-law of the Cake King, the Entenmann family. You eat an Entenmann cake when you go to your studio. Well, the brother-in-law of Mr. Entenmann was effectively murdered by the town of Islip Board Council, and I'm not going to let them forget about it for a second.
Hold it, just a minute. You said he was in the shower and he had a heart attack?
Well, what happened? He was an overweight man, and his heart was not strong, and he was having an incident, and he collapsed in his bathroom. And when his wife called the ambulance crew couldn't walk through the house too much, and so they said, we ought to call the town in here to take all this stuff out. And that was after the cleanup incident on his front lawn. He was so disheartened, and he began thrashing about, and they had to strap him down to the stretcher, and he died in the ambulance.
Oh.
And
That's terrible. When was this?
This occurred on April 11th, year 2000, at approximately 1 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, my goodness.
And the address was number 52 Satinwood Street, Central Islip, New York.
Isn't that terrible?
And it's disgusting. I have a 79-year-old client, I'm not an attorney, who was convicted of the heinous crime of strapping 2 broken sections of stockade fence up against her carport, for which she was accused of and convicted of the offense of construction without a permit. She was convicted, fined $450. I did the appeal, and she argued in front of the 3 judges by herself, and her conviction was overturned because of jurisdictional defects in the accusatory instrument. And so we got a reversal on the conviction, and now we're going to be suing the town for malicious prosecution.
Oh, hooray. Where are you going to sue them? In federal court?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In Central Islip?
I'm going to go to Brooklyn first. I just like the jury pool here.
Are you going to do it pro se?
Oh, absolutely. Of course.
Okay, I'll tell you the name of the pro se clerk.
Okay, let me just write that down. Let me get my little pen out here.
And ask for her, and insist on her.
For who?
Insist upon her.
And her name is?
Cecilia. Cecilia.
Yes.
Volk. V like Volkswagen.
V-O-L-K.
Yes.
And she's in Brooklyn.
And she's the head pro se attorney.
Okay, I just went past the building yesterday. I had to file a motion in the appellate term on Livingston Street.
No, that's okay, I see.
On the corner from it.
So you went by 225 Cadman Plaza East.
Correct.
Now they're building a new courthouse there.
Well, what they're building is an extension on it.
Yes, right.
Yeah, they're building a big extension on the north side of the building.
Yes.
And I know I did observe that because I crossed over from Brooklyn to go into Manhattan.
I was in Brooklyn yesterday, right there.
Oh, where were you?
Well, I was at Brooklyn Public Access.
Oh, the television station, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Isn't that
we had to go to Livingston, I had to file a motion to enlarge an appeal time on to keep a lady from being evicted from her home. She's grossly obese and severely depressed as a result of her husband abandoning her. And there's an effort in downtown Bayshore, New York, to evict all the marginal tenants. There is a group down there that's trying to sort of recast the entire area and get wonderful people down there, except that the Bayshore rental market in downtown is substantially impacted by a lot of social service people and people who are, marginal incomes who are very badly treated. And this particular lady's case was very sad. So my friend and I have intervened in cooperation with this lady's husband to at least keep her in her home for the time being, because the eviction proceeding was defective, and she was tricked into signing a stipulation, which we are attacking in the appeal.
Oh, good for you.
Well, I'm not an attorney, but I've done...
Good. Well, I'm glad you're not. Wesley, you watch the program from Hauppauge or from Brookhaven?
Well, now, that's a good question, because I don't see it that often. When we see you on Channel 70.
Yes, but it's Channel 70, both systems.
Well, okay, so I'm not really sure.
Where does your cable bill come from?
The cable bill comes from Hauppauge.
Okay, that's it. That's the answer.
Yeah, I actually hadn't seen you in quite some time. I was watching the program where there was a gentleman on lecturing about the pro se stuff.
Oh, he's good. Michael Brown.
Yeah.
He's got those.
And then when they flashed up the number, I said, let me call that guy, because I want to see if maybe we can get him to talk at the coalition meeting, because he seems to have his act together pretty good.
He's good. He's good.
And so...
Yeah, there's another one, Dwayne Rogers. Did you see him?
Maybe it was Dwayne Rogers.
Oh, he's really cool.
He has a little mustache and a beard, I think. It seemed like I remember he had a mustache and a beard, but I'm not sure.
Well, one is black hair and one is gray hair.
Oh, this would have been the older guy.
Okay.
That might have been Roger.
No, the older guy is Brown.
Okay, well, it was about 2 weeks ago when I saw it.
He's cool. Oh, that guy, he can twist everybody around.
Well, when I saw the phone number, I just called it, and then I heard some joke about something, and I said, wait a minute, oh, that's Glendora's.
Yeah, well, that's all right. You should have let it go through, and I would have given you, stay here. Maybe I can find some numbers here. Okay?
Yeah.
Just stay. I've recorded it. I think it should be on TV, so you'll be hearing this too.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, the idea is that now what I do is a lot of eviction work, and we deal with a lot of, we don't deal with big shots. We basically dealing with the individual person who maybe has an extra house, and then they put somebody in, and it's a friend, and then suddenly it turns into a maniac situation, and they're faced with laying out thousands of dollars worth of attorney fees in order to have their hand held through the court system, which they are perfectly capable of walking through on their own. But they do not make the court environment user-friendly. They're very cruelly intimidating, and they are not very helpful. And there are some particularities to the preparation of eviction proceedings that the layman needs to have a little bit of training.
That's the New York State Real Property Actions and Proceedings.
That is exactly right. Sections 735 and 232B, Real Property.
Right, and a whole lot more.
Well, I've done it for quite a while. I do about 100 cases a year, and I don't usually lose.
God bless you. Good.
But what I do is I walk them through the system, and we do all the papers perfectly for them.
Okay.
And then I bring them on into court, and I walk them up to the microphone when the judge isn't in the room, and tell them the key little words to do. We try to work out settlement stipulations, and if, regardless of whether we do or not, we will guide them through the trial process, which can be a little bit tough, but not that complex with most of the judges.
Okay, Michael Brown's number.
Oh, let me get my pen again.
Okay, and then I have to go, huh?
Yes, I don't want to. I'm delighted that you could speak with me.
Well, I am delighted. I'm delighted, too, to meet you. All right, number 417.
417.
890.
890.
8617.
8617.
Address is Michael H. Brown, Post Office Box 4884.
4884.
Springfield, Missouri.
Springfield, Missouri. Okay.
65808.
Okay, Mike. We have an attorney locally here named Michael Brown. Now, this is Michael H. Brown?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what
Michael
Brown's guy is. He's a local attorney here in Central Islip who used to be.
Now, Michael H. Brown is not an attorney.
Okay, he's not.
Showing you how to be pro se.
Yes, I understand.
And boy, he's good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what happens when you cross a microwave oven with a TV set?
Oh, it must be some clever thing. I don't know.
You get to watch 60 Minutes in a quarter of an hour.
That's cute.
Oh, Wayne, I'm so glad you got in touch with me. You take care.
All right, good health to you, and feel free to call at any time. And if you're down this way, you have automatically something to eat and a place to sleep, and you can stay over, and we'd love to see you.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Thank you so much. Watch for this on TV.
All right, and approximately what's the time?
Well, I usually do them, it takes me 2 or 3 weeks. I usually do them 2 or 3 weeks to give the cable company plenty of time.
Sure, okay.
And so I would say in 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, that's wonderful. I'll look forward to it.
And I should, if I have time and my intentions are all pure, to call you up and tell you when.
Okay.
And it will be on the Hopog system.
Well, that's the one we would be watching.
Yes, that's why it's going to be on there. Okay, and probably other systems. I'm on 22 of them.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Keep up the good work.
Take care, Wesley. You must have had a Methodist in your family.
Well, as a matter of fact, we were raised Methodist, and my mother and father were married in the Methodist church in 1947. They presently reside in Ocala, Florida. I then went to the Baptist church for many years, and we're raising our children in the Episcopal church presently on and off. We have a little background there. Yes, you hit it right on the head.
Okay.
So good health to you.
Take care.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sit close to the field. You're really close to the playing where most of the modern day stadiums, there's a big space between the actual playing field.
Lemon just stands up and reads the wooden script. They all act like little wooden toy soldiers. Insert. When Glendora was saying, quote, "Let's get it straight, and what does it mean?" and a chat with Glendora has not been seen in 20 municipalities since 1996. Dolan said something about some shows should not be seen on public access, and Glendora said, "Thank you." That is editorial control. Section 531E. is from the Memphis newspaper, clipping sent to Glendora by Michael Brown. McKellar, John McKellar, the judge who sent Celeste and William Bud. Sarah, who's the co-founder of Americans for Legal Reform. Carl, how's it going?
Pretty good. We just had our newsletter, and we have our next meeting is October 2nd. We'll be having meetings the first Tuesday of the month, and we've stopped picketing temporarily against the lawyers because of the bombing on the World Trade Center, but we'll resume that out of respect for what happened at the World Trade Center, but we'll resume that shortly. And we'll keep going. We got to keep our fight going up. It's taken backstage to what's happened over here.
Yeah. What about that rally October 12th in Manhattan?
That was postponed also because of New York.
Postponed with no date?
No date at this time.
Where was it going to be? At the Foley Square?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was Americans for, that was a matter of justice?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's several other groups. We work with several hundred groups throughout the country, and we try to support any of the groups. What's happened in New York doesn't mean we forget about our fight against corruption in the courts. That doesn't mean that the judges and the lawyers can walk free and be forgotten for what they've done. We still have a long, tough fight ahead of us, but there's more important causes at the moment. So I've given the truck a rest, and we'll give the picketing a little rest, but we'll be back in full swing as soon as this calms down a little.
Yeah, that's in spite of what you said in your newsletter, right? You said picketing in your newsletter.
Yeah, well, the newsletter went out before.
Yeah, before that.
Before.
Bring us up to date on Bob Schultz.
Yeah, Bob Schultz, I understand, from his hunger strike, had an appointment with the President of the United States or his staff to listen to his story and his arguments, but I don't know if it took place as a result of.
What is his cause?
His cause was the improperness of the courts in giving taxation and violations of the Constitution. So he wanted to be heard on that, and they did give him the opportunity. They did make an appointment, but I think everything was put on hold currently also.
Thank you, Carl Lancezera, for signing the forms for Cablevision.
Work.
Okay, see you next month, huh? Great talk. Yes, you are. Oh, oh, look at that.
Sit down. Sit down.
No,
Sit down.
he can't. United States Post Office, Melville, New York, home of what's the name of the newspaper in Long Island? The Channel Glendora was mailed. $18. All the tapes we made today. Did I tell you we made 6 editions today? We got done editing at 10 after 1. And see, there were a couple of tie-ups on the way in, and we had to leave late because I couldn't get Franklin's TV set to work, and that made us late getting there. And it was 2 weeks ago, just at the time that we arrived, that the murderers did what they did. And so we went ahead with everything, dumped the rubbish in the dumpster, took poor Rusty for a walk. You know, Rusty isn't feeling well. Right, Rusty? You don't feel good, do you? 2 days. This is the second day. His car is running, his 1980 Lincoln. It went dead completely. And before calling anybody or towing it, I said, I wonder if I jiggle something. Will it work? And I opened the hood and opened the trunk and put the sticks up to hold them open. And sure enough, I jiggled the cable connecting the positive side of the battery to the whatever that thing is that starts it. And my goodness, the electricity came on and it started right up Rusty. So I put Rusty in his bed and took him home, then I had to walk back and get the 1993 car. It's nice that it happened in Rusty Field. So I've done editing and done at 10 after 1 and done wrapping all of these. Wrapping them. I have to wrap them while I edit them. And took Rusty for a walk from 1:30 to 1:45. And he did eat a little. He drank a lot of water. He still didn't feel good. And then you saw Carl Lancezero signing all those useless Cablevision forms. A stupid company. Such a stupid company. Stupid! And we saw the rest of it, and then the Omnibus 6, Glendora versus Sue L. Robinson, a judge in the Delaware United States Court, and a whole lot of other bums down there. That was served. Ta 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 ta. Nassau County. And then all the first class stuff, Texaco. And then I went back and sent the videotape that was made today on that Oklahoma case. And that has gone. And I left a whole stack of tapes at Lynbrook. Rochelle, Bronx, White Plains, and Harrison. That's so dumb. Now we're heading to Woodbury to hand in the 6 programs that were videotaped, that were edited today. They played 6 programs this morning from 9:30 to 12:30. And that was good. Last week's programs too, so they're up to date, I think. This is the northern state. Did you guess that? We go north on 135. Time? 10 minutes to 4. Day? September 25, 2001, Anno Domini.
For that update, one note for you on the Henry Hudson Parkway. Still tons of volume from the sawmill on down through the Henry Hudson Bridge. I'm Tom Kaminsky with the Subaru Outback Ground Patrol. Let's get a Long Island update, WCBS Traffic Center.
And no change here, Tom. Westbound LIE, an accident at Route 110, and then it's bumper-to-bumper traffic from the valley between exit 40 and 39 out to the Cross Island Parkway. Now, this could take up to 4 hours to get through those 8 miles. Use the northern state if you're heading westbound, which is heavy from 106.7 and then from the connector into Queens. Eastbound on both roads, usual slowdown starting to show their heads, and we have an accident on Lakeville Road at Union Turnpike. This report is brought to you by VoiceStream Wireless. Do you need traffic information?
4 hours? It'll be dark. Poor Frankie. And his TV's not working. We're leaving at 4:10. The deadline to leave was 4:30, but that's when things are supposedly normal. Thank you, God. Better than the one I lost. I gotta do everything by mail. It's just getting more and more impossible. This used to be all woods. Last year this was all woods. Why? It's 4:20 p.m. now. This is coming off of the LIE under the Northern State. May 25, 2001 Tuesday. This is 106, 107. Roots. Hey. And what they say, we won't see this very often. Poor Frankie, all alone. No TV. Here I am, way down here. 53. 54. Glen Cove Road, as always. 4:41 p.m. It's been about 13 miles per hour, but at least we are moving. We're getting very close to the Queen's Line. Always before, when you got to the Queen's Line, you could zip through. But not today. Rusty's sound asleep. We have to do the train for today. What time is it? 10 minutes to 5.
You get the best selection of mattresses in America.
It's picking up. It's like the good old days. $4.59. 4:10 p.m. Took the Oyster Bay Seaford Expressway, Route 135 south onto the LIE for a couple of exits, and then onto the Northern State. It still isn't an hour yet. You people out in New Mexico, do you have traffic like this? How about you people up in Portland, Oregon? You think that bad? How about in West Seneca, Buffalo, New York? Oklahoma, do you have traffic like this? Connecticut? Manchester, do you have traffic like this? Queens. Ta, 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 ta. You're going to Queens, that's New York City. One of the 5 boroughs. It's spelled B-O-R-R-O-W-S. We got about 3 miles to the Fog's Neck Bridge, Clearview. Lane, because we're coming to the Clearview. Clearview Expressways, Frogs Neck Bridge, Hillside Avenue, Queens, City of New York. I wish that man would stop driving like that. It's twice he's done that. .503p.
Or we also include New Jersey. And we'll take a look at that overnight and make a decision for tomorrow. But people should start thinking about that for Thursday. We're going to do it on Thursday because Thursday is Yom Kippur. The city will not be as crowded, and we can see how it works. And then, of course, basically we're doing it on Thursday to have it ready for Friday.
That's how Mayor Giuliani said it in his news conference about a half an hour ago. So they're going to mull it over overnight, and it seems like it could be a vastly different world driving into New York on Thursday.
But we will keep you posted about all the details.
You know, I can see a cottage industry of people standing up.
Clearview Expressway, Frogs Neck Bridge, 1/2 mile. Thank you, Northern State. Thank you, Diane Bennett. Thank you, V. Thank you, God. Thank you, 1993 Lincoln. Thank you, gasoline. It's 4:09 p.m., so that was an hour. An hour from Woodbury to the Clearview. And the view on the Clearview is not so clear. Headed for the Fox Neck Bridge. Long Island to the Bronx. Queens to the Bronx. It's a terrible thing. Right inside of a city, one borough to another, an intercity bridge, you have to pay $3.50 every time you go over it. You know, why today is it like this? What makes it? They don't tell you on the radio.
We have to take everything seriously now that we might not have in the past. Reporting live from the command center, Mary Gay Taylor, WCBS 880 News.
Thank you, Mary Gay. We're going to put calls out. In fact, we already have to the various rail agencies around here to find out if they're going to beef up service to ferry people into Manhattan, because you know it's going to be a lot of people who can no longer drive into Manhattan and are going to be trying to find some other route in. And you have to wonder about the potential chaos on either side of the bridges and tunnels as police turn people away or as police try to give tickets to people who drive in anyway. Single occupancy.
I think Tom Kaminsky's advice earlier was really the right one. Don't try to get away with it. Just, you know, obey the law and make sure that there's more than one person in your car.
But there will be those people who didn't have our radio station and they will say, what? I didn't know.
I didn't know is not an excuse, right?
WCBS News Time, 5:34. Who doesn't have any more than one car? In other words, carpool only on Thursday. And I wonder, what kind of a nightmare is that going to be where they turn people away?
How are they going to do it?
Well, you know something. Here's the one thing that I've been busy just checking a lot of the mass transit websites, and really outside of the MTA subways and buses, you don't.
Well, at least it's moving, folks. At least it's open. 2 weeks ago, this road wasn't open. Oh yeah, this one was. The Northern State wasn't, and the LIE wasn't, and the Southern State wasn't, and the Cross Island wasn't. For at least this week, they were open.
And drivers are out of their cars and backing down the exits. Eastbound is slow from New Hyde Park Road to Searingtown Road, and again from 110 to Bagatelle. Westbound Jericho Turnpike real heavy to the LIE, and westbound Northern State heavy from 106.7, and again from the connector into Queens. The eastbound side slows from Little Neck into exit 26, again through the Wantagh, but the Southern State Parkway is much lighter than normal in both directions. This report brought to you by the Food Emporium, where the very best features the full juice taste.
At last, folks, what time is it? Just 2 hours. 2 hours and 5 minutes since we left Woodbury. What's the slowdown? What caused it? We don't know what caused it. Throgs Neck Bridge. Queens to the Bronx, New York City. This is a high occupancy vehicle. Myself and Rusty. We've been 146 miles today. Again, September 25, 2001. Tuesday. 2 weeks ago, the murderers hit the World Trade Center. Sunsets in 30 minutes. We're supposed to get home before dark. Get out the money. Citizens Against Tolls. We hate tolls. Visit our website. We hate tolls. How are you?
Okay.
What caused the tie-up?
They were searching vans and trucks today.
Oh, vans and trucks?
Yeah.
May I please have a receipt?
Sure.
Thank you.
Fortunately, it's going to be like that for a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Vans and trucks?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it, folks. I-95 to the Hutch. The Hutch to 684. 684 to 84. And help Rusty. And help Franklin. out of New York City and into Westchester County. Each end of New York City coming into Westchester. 2 1/4 hours. It's usually 30 minutes. Hutchinson River Parkway. 6:25 p.m. This is right about where the flood was in this 1993 Lincoln. About 6 Tuesdays ago. Went through about 10 inches of water and still kept going. This is Rusty's exit, the Bronx, Route 1, Boston Post Road, and Route 22, the Albany Post Road. Would you stay close to me, Rusty, because you don't feel very good today. Okay, we'll make as much time as we can before dark. 153 miles. Route 684, 6:52 p.m. 176 miles. Mount Kisco. They didn't announce it on the radio that they were searching vans and trucks. Because that would have given it away. You have to get up at 3:30 every Tuesday in order to make it. The remarkable thing about that, being in the script service department, my job was to run mimeograph machines. Giving it away. You have to get up at 3:30 every Tuesday in order to make it. something like 20 hours. Route 84. p.m. This is Thursday, September 27th, 2001, Anno Domini, and Americans for Legal Reform wants to know if you have any information on any of these people. If you do, would you call this number? Okay. Let's see what else they have for you. Legal news. The House of Representatives held hearings in June on child support, parenthood, and corruption in the divorce system. Chairman Congressman Wally Herger, Republican, California. Human Resources. Telephone numbers 202-225-1025. We'll publish a report soon, available on the internet. www.house.gov. www.house.gov. The United States Chamber of Commerce, 800-638-6582. www.uschamber.com is fighting to stop excessive litigation, frivolous lawsuits, and excessive litigation that cost U.S. business and consumers $160 billion every year. This is Americans for Legal Reform reporting this. More than 54 cents of every dollar paid out goes to lawyers, not victims. Asbestos, tobacco, implants, gun manufacturers, paints, alcohol, fast food, HMOs, chemicals, etc. Bulletin from the Americans for Legal Reform. Not that you will get any justice because something are watching the cheese, but if you have a complaint about an attorney, one choice is to contact your local grievance committee here on Long Island. The number is 516-364-7344. Well, if they're anything like Westchester, they're a hoax. If you are a member, we can help you with your complaint. Remember, 98% of all grievances get trashed or thrown into the fee dispute category. As long as you have fakes, frauds, phonies on the committee, copy all correspondence to the local newspaper, TV show, or talk show host. These are bulletins from Americans for Legal Reform. Before you throw money at an attorney, talk to a paralegal or make an appointment with Americans for Legal Reform to discuss your case. We can save you thousands of dollars in attorney's fees with Americans for Legal Reform to discuss your case. The office for the self-represented is 212-374-8190, has free forms and procedure instructions available. If you don't have a set, you better get them. Advice from Americans for Legal Reform. And anyone who has Taylor Walker as an attorney should check him out. Check how many cases he has messed up. We have a long list of clients going back to when he was active with another father's rights group. Walmart stores are the preferred defendant of trial lawyers looking to win the litigation lottery. They are sued more than any other private entity. Last year, they were sued 4,851 times. They have 9,400 open cases. Only the United States government is sued more. They had 7,500 cases. The American Trial Lawyers Association has a group of 75 lawyers who specialize in suing Walmart. In the end, the consumer pays. These are bulletins from Americans for Legal Reform. Suggested reading by Fred Leyland, Leyland. Rodney Stick's book. Stick is S-T-I-C-H'(S) book. Drugging America. A Trojan Horse. A man walks... Wait just a second. Okay, I'll pass on that one. Have your judicial misconduct complaints against judges been dismissed? The Center for Judicial Accountability, a nonpartisan, nonprofit citizens organization, collects copies of judicial misconduct complaints to document the corruption of judicial disciplinary mechanisms. Call the Center for Judicial Accountability at 914-421-1200 or email to judgewatch@aol.com. We regret the demise of Thomas J. Alimo, a victim of legal injustice. That ends this month's bulletin from Americans for Legal Reform. Folks, this is Glendora's 50th year in television. How are we going to celebrate it? It started in 1951. I was graduated from the American International College in Springfield, Massachusetts, and I went to California, to Berkeley, to the University of California. And then the next year, I went to Los Angeles, California, and I went to work for NBC television. It was the year that the Federal Trade Commission made NBC break up the red network and the blue network as monopolies. And the blue network became NBC as you know it today. The red network became ABC as you know it today. And it moved across the street. They were at Hollywood and Vine, and they moved across Vine Street. And I saw Fred Allen going up Vine Street one day looking for the new ABC, the old red network. And he was probably looking for a discussion as to putting on his radio show. What year? 1951. Groucho Marx was filming, and I do mean film. I mean Hollywood film. You Bet Your Life was filmed at NBC Hollywood, Sunset and Vine. There was no videotape in those days. No videotape. It didn't come out until like 15 years later. Anyway, Groucho Marx came out. They were on a break. And he went out the artist's entrance, and I went out with him. And he was very serious, and he said to me, "Good evening." And he said, "It's a nice evening, isn't it?" The remarkable thing about that, being in the script service department, my job was to run the mimeograph machines. The remarkable thing about that is that, you bet your life, Groucho Marx, all of those ad-libs were scripted. They were scripted because it was our job to proofread the scripts that we had typed and were running off. And we read those ad-libs. That was the days of George Fenneman and the duck that came down from the ceiling, and all of those ad-libs were scripted. And I saw Red Skelton, and Red Skelton got so tense when he had to do a radio show that he would get sick afterwards. And I saw Jack Benny. He was on Bob Hope's show as a guest, and Bob Hope was doing his monologue, and Jack Benny was over at another stand-up microphone, and Bob Hope put down his script on his knee, and he says, "You're not..." Oh, and Jack Benny had his violin. And Bob Hope says, "You're not going to fiddle with that thing while I'm doing my monologue, are you?" And Bob Hope let me do a monologue after his show, after his radio show, after the show was all taped and everything was a wrap. And then, that's WRAP. And then Bob Hope would do an after show, and he let me tell my jokes. And they made a record for me, and the audience response was very good. I was more scared than Red Skelton. And one day, I was given a bunch of scripts, and they said, "Hurry up, rush these up to Studio D." And I went upstairs, and at the stairs landing, there was a canteen machine. And there was a man there, and he was banging the canteen machine, and he was all upset. And he says, "This machine took my nickel and didn't give me a candy bar." And that man was Robert Young. He was there doing Father Knows Best. And I was there for 2 years at NBC Hollywood. And then I decided you really couldn't go on TV at NBC Hollywood without the experience. You had to have the experience. Because you go on TV there, and one flub and you're through all over the country. So my first TV show was in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, with Glendora and her picture party. And I would tell the boys and girls at home an incident in a famous American's life, George Washington's life, for instance. And it would be illustrated by pictures. And then the two little contestants who were on the show that week would be closeted so that they didn't hear the story, and then they would come in and look at the pictures and tell the story that they saw in the pictures, and whoever came closer to the actual story was the winner. But I never could stop feeling sorry for the person who didn't win, so I made them both winners. That was Glendora and her picture party, and that was sponsored. And I learned a very important lesson in television. If you want to be on television, get a sponsor. Get somebody who will pay the TV station or the radio station money. It's as simple as that. The next program was the SS Glendora, and it was on Channel 9, Manchester, New Hampshire, the TV station owned by the former Governor Murphy of New Hampshire. And that was all kids playing games, and it was a lot of fun. And that was the year 1954, and Franklin and I got married on Christmas Day of that year. Where, Franklin? Wellesley Hills, Massachusetts. And Christmas morning at 10 o'clock. And we went to the Concord Inn with his mother and father and my mother and father, and we had dinner. And who was the minister, Franklin? John Elmo Wallace. How did you meet him? He was the minister in the First Congregational Church in Springfield for 6 or 8 years. And then he went to Wellesley Hill. How did you know him in Springfield? Because I was a newspaper reporter and covered a good many church activities. Many good church activities. And how many years ago was that we were married? How many years ago was that? $47 this Christmas. 46 now. Isn't it amazing? Now, some other time I'll review this for you again. And I'll tell you what the next program was after the New Hampshire program. This is September 21st paper, the autumnal equinox, and you can see where the court is, and you can see the names of the defendants. Crooked lawyers, crooked cable vision. Caption continues on page 2. Crooked judges, Jones, Kearse, Cabranes, Bryant, Tormey, a crooked law clerk, U.S. West, who lost the company. The company used to be owned by Hofstadter. Thomas E. Walsh, a crooked lawyer. And then a bunch of crooked judges, as there is nothing else but in the Eastern District of New York. The movement is Glendora. This is a notice of motion by Glendora that Judge Dunn recuse. He is her defendant in federal court. The return date is October 12th, Friday, Columbus Day, 2001. The location is the courtroom loaned to Judge Dunn, 1 Supreme Court Drive, Mineola, New York, 11501. Relief requested is stated in the title. The legal basis is CPLR analog to Title 28 U.S. Code, Section 144 and Section 455. Recuse. Grounds are Glendora sued John P. Dunn in federal court for not doing anything on her case, for violation of due process, 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, of her civil rights under same and under the New York State Constitution, Article 1. She was a do-nothing, protecting Glendora's court rights. Such a platform is hardly judicially auspicious. Supporting papers are the entire file in this case and the affirmation affixed here too. Dated Huntington, New York, September 25th, 2001, Anno Domini, yours in truth, Glendora. Affirmation in support of motion. Under penalty of perjury, Glendora declares she tells the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and always has, so help her God. Dated September 25th, etc. Next legal paper is in the United States District Court District of the Northern Mariana Islands. Glendora is the plaintiff versus Sue L. Robinson, a judge in the Delaware Federal Court. Roderick R. McKelvey, another one. Brian Blackwell, the clerk. Dr. Peter Dalio and his whole staff. And the law clerks of Robinson and McKelvey. I will read you the names in this is the second page of defendants. Third page. Fourth page. Laws the defendants violated. Laws violated by Robinson, McKelvey, Blackwell, Dalio, and staff and law clerks are listed infra. Title 42 U.S. Code Section 1983, violation of civil rights under color of state. 42 U.S. Code Section 1985, conspiracy. 28 U.S. Code Section 144, refuse to recuse. 28 U.S. Code Section 455, ibid. 28 U.S. Code Section 372C1, conduct prejudicial to the effective administration of the business of the courts. What is the business of the courts, folks? Justice. The First Amendment, free speech. Right to petition the government for redress of wrong. Right to peaceful assembly. Public's right to know and see and hear. Fifth Amendment, due process. Federal Rules of Civil Procedure Rule 1, just, speedy, and inexpensive. Federal Rules of Civil Procedure Rule 2, 26 to 37, discovery. Federal Rules of Civil Procedure Rule 38, jury trial. Failure to rule on the merits. Obstruction of justice. These are all crimes committed by these judges in these courts. Abuse of office, apostasy, cheating Americans, selling the public short, traitorship to the United States of America, the right to be pro se, abuse of the law, ignorance of the law, abuse of the judicial system, injury to America, 28 U.S. Code 3072C1, 28 U.S. Code Section 1915, informa pauperis, poor person, inter alia. Same defendants violated stare decisis and dismissed Glendora's cases before she had her right as stated infra. And this case is Glendora versus Cablevision, the great landmark case where Cablevision took Glendora's program off of the TV in 1993 and was ordered to put it back on TV. And this case states that in view of the well-settled rule, particularly applicable in pro se civil rights actions, that a complaint should not be dismissed unless it appears beyond doubt that the plaintiff can prove no set of facts to support her claim which would entitle her to relief. Branham versus Clark, Conley versus Gibson. The static wasn't coming from this microphone, it was coming from the input into the camera. You thought it was coming from the judges. These same defendants, 1 through 6, will not answer block calls. Can you imagine that? A court will not answer a call if you have a block number. They will not answer the clerk's phone until the caller reveals his telephone number. His or her telephone number. This is supposed to be a court and not a country club. This is the public's court. These 6 defendants do not docket a case when it comes in, assign a judge, and give the case a case number. This is stupid. The first thing a federal court does when a case is filed is to give it a case number. Defendant Super went November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June with no case number. Glendora would call to ascertain the status of her cases. The clerk would ask, what is the case number? And Glendora would say, you haven't given the case a number. They go way too long without assigning a judge. In all other courts, assigning a judge is in the first hour. All of these are violations of Federal Rules of Civil Procedures, Rules 77, 78, and 79. B. Now the B defendants are Deputy U.S. Marshal Jeff Penny, Deputy U.S. Marshal John Doe 1, Deputy U.S. Marshal John Doe 2, Court Security Officer Carmen, Court Security Officer John, Court Security Officer John Doe 3, Court Security Officer John Doe 4, Court Security Officer John Doe 5. On duty, November the 30th, year 2000, 9:15 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. at the United States District Court, District for Delaware, 844 King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. And they are sued for closing the court to Glendora. Franklin and Glendora got up at 2 a.m. and drove over 250 miles to the Wilmington court to file her order to show cause against imperialistic Cablevision violating outrageously New York State and Delaware shareholder rights. Carmen refused to let her into the court, and it was Gestapo. John Doe 3 assisted Carmen in his lawbreaking. Glendora had brought her box of legal papers to the court entrance because there is no parking. The box contained the box was carried to the court entrance. Once that was done, Glendora went back to the street to tell Franklin what he wanted to know. It was okay to go find a parking place. Carmen, in abusive job, intimidated Glendora. From the other side of the street, from the courthouse, Glendora videotaped the exterior of the side of the building for you, the TV audience. And a Pinkerton court officer, John Doe 4, ran up the sidewalk, crossed the street, and threatened, "You can't do that," quote unquote. The man is out of his mind. He was black and thin, dressed in the usual gray slacks and navy blazer. When asked for his statutory authority, he blurted, "I don't know, it's in there someplace," pointing to the courthouse. A courthouse can be videotaped from the outside and across the street. John Doe 4 was joined in his ignorance and abusive job by John Doe 5. Carmen came out onto the front porch of the courthouse and hollered to Glendora, "Hey, come back here and get this box." Said John Doe 5, "You should have left it there, Carmen." All of this is on audio tape. Glendora audio taped it. She played the tape on her TV program. Glendora is on 22 cable TV systems. The date was November 30th, 2000, Friday, 9:18 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. C. Car. They were sued. They came tracking me up the street, far away from their jurisdiction, which is the United States courthouse. They went way up the street, tracking me, and came in and interrogated me and tried to make me scared. And then made a bad report to the people where I was sitting about they could call the local police. For what? And they're sued for that. Abuse of office and intimidation. Now, the nothing but a flunky clerk at the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Department, and the clerk of the United States Court of Appeals, Second Circuit, I should say, not department. Rosanna B. McKechnie, and the Chief Judge at the Second Circuit, John Walker, 40 Foley Square, New York, New York. Carr, McKechnie, and Walker are sued for fraud upon the court. Glendora is entitled to an Article III judge by the U.S. Constitution. Carr is not a judge. Carr is not a suffragan judge. An order is not an order until it is signed by a judge. Further, Glendora has a right to know the name of the judge, yea, the names of the 3 judges on the panel. These defendants have been spitting out bogus orders like this for years, and they have to be stopped. Now, MCI and Ebers are sued in a nutshell, and they are. They sent the bill to the wrong place. Glendora never even knew she had a bill. How can you pay a bill if you don't know you have it? And they turned off the service. Well, they have made good on that. And the service was turned on when I called the president, the chairman's office. The defendants in that case are MCI, WorldCom, the CEO, president, Bernard J. Ebers, and a woman named Stacy, a woman named Charlene, and a woman named Sierra. There should be added to that a woman named Katrina today. Defendants Ebers through Sierra are sued for failure to send Glendora's long-distance and regional telephone bill to her specified and designated address, preventing Glendora from ever receiving a bill. How can a person pay a bill never received? And I think you know that story. It was reported last week. That's a great infringement of free speech when you take away a person's telephone service on a stupid, you know. Now, this is Group E defendants. On the day the World Trade Center was attacked, John Doe 7 collided with Glendora's car at Ocean Avenue in the Southern State in Malvern, New York, Long Island. His huge tractor-trailer rammed Glendora's driver's side mirror. Said he upon disembarking from the huge truck, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I just plain didn't see you." If you cannot see a 4,000-pound Lincoln Town Car, your ability to operate a motor vehicle is in question. Malvern Nassau policeman, a black, stationed at Ocean Avenue to block traffic under the Southern State Parkway, kept clear for emergency vehicles to the disasters at the World Trade Center, refused to identify himself. This is a criminal offense. This officer told us to go down Ocean Avenue 100 feet to the Catholic Church and pull into its parking lot and wait for the police to come. We did. Glendora told John Doe 6 to give her $200 for the mirror and let the incident go. He said, I have to have a police report. Not just one mammoth Campbell Express truck went into the Catholic Church Parkway lot, but two. Glendora videotaped and audiotaped the incident. John Doe 7, driver of the second Campbell Express truck, was abusive, belligerent, and intimidating. He lied Glendora had no right to videotape them. She does. He had no right, statutory authority. When Glendora wrote down what he was wearing, he said, showing it, "You want to see my underwear too?" John Doe 6, the colliding driver, who cannot see a 4,000-pound Lincoln Town Car, refused to show Glendora his license, registration, and insurance card. This is an outrageous violation of law. Glendora demanded 3 times her rights to see same. The time frame is bad driver John Doe 6 rammed Glendora driver's side mirror at 4:40 p.m. 4:50 p.m. we were in the Catholic Church parking lot. 5 p.m. no police. 5:10 p.m. no police. 5:20 police. No police. 5:30 p.m. no police. 5:40 p.m. no police. 5:50 p.m. no police. 5:58 p.m. a cruiser arrived. John Doe 6 and 7 hastened to see the Nassau police officer number 507 before Glendora had time to get to him and witness what was said. John Doe 6 came with number 507 and twisted Glendora's driver mirror 360 degrees. Then he twisted it back 360 degrees. He had no right to touch Glendora's property. Number 507 was wrong to stand there and let him do it. Then number 507 twisted said mirror 360 degrees and then twisted it back 360 degrees, just as John Doe 6 had done. Number 507 had no right to touch Glendora's property. Then number 507 said, quote, "Your car is not damaged, ma'am," unquote. Officer 507 was wrong not to make John Doe 6 show Glendora his license, his registration, and his insurance card. When Glendora left, number 507 and John Doe 6 and 7 were still colluding. 10 minutes later, at that same spot, when Glendora returned, there were 3 Nassau police cruisers juxtaposed with the officers chit-chatting. Here Glendora had waited an hour for one. The 3 sitting there were not out protecting the populace. Insert, at the time John Doe Campbell Express rammed Glendora's car. The car was stationary. She was 2 feet behind the stationary car in front of her and had no place to go. It was also unnecessary hitting her car. Campbell defendants are sued for recklessness, incompetence, refusing to show license, registration, insurance card, oral assault, intimidation, 1.5-hour inconvenience, stress, collusion, touching her car, falsifying a police report. Friedrich Strauss and Gary Stooks and the White Plains Public Access Commission and the City of White Plains are sued for truncating Glendora's videotaping of our public access facility in White Plains. Glendora was showing her TV audience the public access studio and the control room where public access shows are produced. Said defendants further changed Glendora's cablecast time from 7 p.m. Monday to 7 p.m. Tuesday with no notice, no discussion, and no consent. Also, Glendora used to be on TV Saturday evenings. The Saturday cablecasts were stopped, again with no notice, no discussion, and no consent. Gary Stooks has been an obstruction to Glendora's public access for 7 years, and Fred Strauss has allowed him to do so. These are violations of First Amendment free speech under both the U.S. Constitution and the New York State Constitution, Article 1, Bill of Rights. These are violations of the United States Constitution and of the Cable Communications and Policy Act of 1984, codified as U.S. Code 47521 et sequitur. And add to these, that's the same, are violations of Title 19 New York Code, Rules, Regulations, Section 595.4, and New York Public Service Law, Section 229. The White Plains Public Access Commission is for the public. It is not a country club, and Gary Stooks is not the Inspector General. This is a Rule 8 notice complaint, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Glendora has voluminous files, audio tapes, and videotapes. The court will be ecstatic to review and scrutinize. They prove her claims. U.S. Marshal Service pursuant to 28 U.S. Code Section 1915. Glendora is in forma pauperis. She will serve the complaint pursuant to Rule 4D, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, notifying defendants the lawsuit has been filed against them and admonishing them of their civic duty to acknowledge the lawsuit and save the cost of serving a summons. If they go fugitive, as is likely, Glendora will have to have a Section 1915 order for the U.S. Marshal to serve them, and they should pay for that such service. Wherefore, plaintiff seeks $183 million in punitive and compensatory damages, together with disciplining defendants to commit no more offenses to America, such as delineated herein, together with the cost of this action and all further relief just and proper. Dated Huntington, New York, September 25th, 2001, Anno Domini, yours in truth, Glendora. Here is the Rule 4D service. You have to send two of them, one for them, and one does return to me. And the affirmation that they were served, and the informa pauperis, stating the financial picture. That was served, as said, on September 25th, day before yesterday. This is the United Taxpayers of America. Give the government back to the people. And this is to Cablevision and Charles Dolan. And it's from Wayne Trace, who is the New York State Chairman. And he says, now that we have found out everything that you are doing as a cable company, two of them, one for them, one does return to me. And the affirmation that they were served, and the informa pauperis, stating the financial picture. That was served, as said, on September 25th, day before yesterday. This is the United Taxpayers of America. Give the government back to the people. And this is to Cablevision and Charles Dolan. And it's from Wayne Trace, who is the New York State Chairman. And he says, now that we have found out everything that you are doing as a cable company, speaking with the FCC, the Public Service Commission, federal and state judges, we find you are breaking every constitutional law that there is. Enclosed, find just a few amongst many that we have that will be used in a court of law. Oh, that's good. Let me show you these laws, folks. This is the cable television companies. This is Public Service Law 229. The Commission may not prohibit or limit any program or any class or type of program or otherwise censor the communications or signals transmitted by any cable television company or over any cable television system, and may not promulgate any regulation or condition which would interfere with the right of free speech by means of cable television. No municipality may prohibit or limit any program or class or type of program or impose discriminatory or preferential franchise fees in any manner that would tend to encourage or discourage programming of any particular nature, directly or indirectly. No cable television company may prohibit or limit any program or class or type of program presented over a leased channel or any channel made available for public access or educational purposes. Boy, how Cablevision has busted that law 1,000 times. Section 230 of the Public Service Law. Liability for obscenity, defamation, and invasion of privacy. Neither the cable television company whose facilities are used to transmit a program produced by a person other than such cable television company, for instance, by people such as public access producers, pursuant to the provisions of this article or of federal law or of applicable regulations, nor the officers, directors, or employees of any such cable television company shall be liable to damages arising from any obscene or defamatory statements or actions or invasion of privacy occurring during any program when such company does not originate or produce such program. See, the cable operators got this into the law, that they would be indemnified by us. And cable goes on using an excuse, oh, we have to do all these things in case somebody sues because you did something. But we indemnify Cablevision. They can't be sued for these things. More law. Control over program content, Section 169. The Commission on Cable Television may not prohibit or limit any program or any class or type of program or otherwise censor the communications or signals transmitted by any cable television company or over any cable television system, and it may not promulgate any regulation or condition which would interfere with the right of free speech by means of cable television. That's the Commission, Public Service Commission. 170, penalties. Any cable television company that violates any provision of the law regulating cable television, or which fails, omits, or neglects to obey any order, direction, or requirement of the Commission on Cable Television will be subject to civil penalties upon a court action within 1 year after the cause of action arises or accrues. Section 169, we read. So there you are, Cablevision. These are the laws that you have broken for years, and boy, are we coming after you. To continuing with this letter from the United Taxpayers Association. You say the producers use need different sponsors other than themselves in various areas, and you give different reasons. One reason is that you are liable for what the programs do. Well, you are not liable at all. If you read C-230 enclosed, you will find that you are not responsible for anything as you do not originate or produce the program. Then you use another excuse that you want to be certain that the programs speak on local issues of the area. Well, read Section 229, Part 3, where it tells you that the channels are available for public access or educational purposes, which is not limited to a certain area, but to the whole country. Our legal department is looking into this very deeply, for this is what our organization is all about. Go ahead and sue. Now, to stop what you are doing, trying to keep the public ignorant, you use every excuse to do this. Reinstate the hidden truth and the others that you took off the air in areas where they once were televised because of lack of sponsorship. We were asked by certain senators and congressmen and New York State legislators to please subpoena them if we take this to court. They themselves don't like your tactics. We have laws that you break every day. Read Section 229, Part 1, enclosed. You can't censor a program, but it seems that you are trying to censor it. Again, reinstate the hidden truth in where you took it away because of lack of sponsorship. We are sponsors, and that is final. We don't threaten people, but we take action. We will abide by the Constitution of the USA, and so will you. These are the laws of our country. Stop trying to bend them and break them. This is the United Taxpayers of America, a group of churches, talking to Cablevision, Charles Dolan et al. We are not novices to going to court, as you can see by our brochure. Politics is not going to take education away from the public. Yes, we are an educational program, and not through only a TV program, which is one of the ways we educate, but also through our radio program and our magazine and through our weekly newspaper. We make sure that all the churches are enlightened of the wrongdoings of certain organizations, companies, and businesses that try to take the truth and hide the truth from the people. This is what we are all about. What you find enclosed is all federal law, not state law. No, that's wrong. It is state law. We await your response. Sincerely, Wayne Trace, New York State Chairman. Carbon copy to Maurice Cunningham, Charles Dolan, Glendora, Richard Einhorn, Robert Goldberg, and Zabby. Two things they should remember. They should boycott. They should boycott the Wiz, the Knicks, the Rangers, Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall, and Cablevision. They should buy satellites. So they should boycott. Second thing they should do is sue right now. Sue. The phone in the maternity ward rang, and a man said, "This is Charles Patterson, and my wife's about to have a baby, and I'm bringing her in right away." And the nurse says, calm down, calm down. Is this her first baby? And the man said, no, I told you this is Charles Patterson. And the little boy says, Daddy, does the husband boss the house? And Daddy says, no, he houses the boss. And did you hear about the couple that got married so late in life that Medicare picked up 80% of the honeymoon? And Bill went into the city hall and he asked the clerk who does the marriage licenses, how much does it cost to get married? And the clerk said, $20 for the license and one paycheck every week the rest of your life. John said when he got married, he found out why they call English the mother tongue. Father never gets a chance to use it. And for their wedding, Mark and Sally received lots of gifts that said his and her, and one that said us, a U.S. Army blanket. And Paul says his favorite trick is running his wedding videotape backwards so he can see himself walk out of church a free man. This is Glendora, a chat with Glendora, September 27th, Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Anno Domini. Keep the courage flaming. Fight evil. Rusty's riding in the front seat so that it's Friday morning and that's Aaron's day. Rusty eats grass, eats grass, eats grass. This is an amazing plant. Is it a thistle? Is it a dandelion? I'm going to give you a frame of reference as to how big it is. Look how big it is. It's as big as Rusty. And the symmetry of it and the way it grows in a circle. This is really another amazing creation by God. A gaggle of geese just flew by, probably going to Cablevision, Long Island. Rusty eats grass and eats grass and eats grass and eats grass. You ready to go now to White Plains and Greenberg and Harrison on Friday, September 28th at 8:45 a.m. Are you ready to get into your luxury Lincoln?